Welcome to this BVTV Spotcast, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision, and I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. This is number 3 in the People Retention Trilogy with expert Vicky Oliver. So let's go say hello again. Hello, Vicky.
Hello, thank you so much for having me again.
And we're still in New York. Can you teach me a bit of New Yorkese?
Well, I don't think I have an accent. And I think the accent is maybe sort of fading, actually. I don't hear it as much as I used to hear it. But New Yorkers are tough, we're brave, and we're sturdy. Okay, we've lived through a lot.
I got you. Vicky, you've opened eyes to the people problem and what can be done about it. But my personal opinion is that too many businesses are thinking it's a temporary problem that they've got to solve. Now, my BVTV interviews with tell me otherwise, that it's not a blip, and I trust you agree with my thinking. If so, I want to ask you to kindly give some straightforward advice to viewers and listeners. What should companies be doing to sustain the changes they're making now to retain the talent in the future? I don't just mean in a strategy, but also in the execution of that sustainable talent retention strategy.
Right. So first off, I would say, have a vision, communicate the vision, make sure the vision is being communicated to all of your workers. And when somebody does a good job, I mean, this may sound silly and obvious, but you have to appreciate the workers too, and realize that, you know, now that we are home, working from home, or in a hybrid model, sometimes working from home, sometimes not, sometimes in the office. This is stressful, you know, all change is stressful. And now we're acclimating to a new stress of the hybrid model. And when somebody does something right, I would say be lavish in your praise, praise them effusively so that they know, you know. Now that doesn't mean if somebody needs feedback, if they need coaching on something that they're not doing right, well, it's your responsibility to coach them. I'm not saying, you know, don't ever coach anybody, but when somebody does something right, tell them.
Yeah.
You know? I appreciate the great job you did, you know. You did a phenomenal job on this. And can you do it again for us? Because we need you, you know.
Yeah. I quite agree. I always tell people, you know, work it on and maybe a minimum of a 3-to-1 ratio, you know, 3 praise to 1 criticism, and never let that ratio change. Do you think that's about right?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I mean, I think I called it in one of my books, like a compliment sandwich, you know, where you tell them something like complimentary and then you sneak in like something that they need to work on and then you end with a compliment. I am revising that. I feel like it's like it should be 5 compliments.
Yes.
1 piece of feedback, because also people don't listen to negative feedback unless it comes with something positive. It's very difficult for people to hear something negative and they may just like push it away. So it's better to tell them what they're doing right, you know?
Yeah. And the other thing I would suggest, and you can help me with here, is do it sincerely. I think so many people give platitudes, if that's the expression there, rather than being quite sincere of their expression, their appreciation. Right.
And especially if somebody who's working for you has grown up a lot recently, you know, maybe before they were shy and now, you know, you ask them to speak out a little more and now they're speaking out more. If somebody's showing growth, you want to encourage that growth, you know, and to be sincere. Absolutely be sincere. You know, I think also just having conversations with the people that work for you can help make a better environment. Workers appreciate transparency and honesty and authenticity and a mission.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Vicky. And the other little challenge I think that's around at the moment is the fact that for probably the first time for a long time, we've got 5 generations in the workforce, haven't we? Particularly, the Generation Z and millennials to manage, who are a little bit different from us old grumpy, well, not you, but me, grumpy baby boomers?
It's funny you say this about the generations. I was thinking about this. Generations, they used to be 20 years, and that was considered a generation. But now the generations are getting like speeded up.
Yeah.
So there are more and more and more of them. So it's like very interesting, you know what I mean? That there are like 5 generations, which we used to be like 100 years. That's not true, right?
That's right.
But I think the trick with the different generations, is that people who are older should lean on the younger generations coming up for help with technology and learn, like how they do it. How do they just jump on and figure everything out, and how do they do it? And I think younger generations coming in should lean on older generations for process.
Yeah.
And for understanding like the purpose of meetings,
Yeah.
Meetings are not just transactional. They're also for FaceTime, just getting FaceTime and understanding people that way, visual cues. It's not just what happens in the actual meeting that pushes a project forward. There's a reason to be in them regardless.
Yeah.
And so I think if people are just come in and are willing to learn from the other, it's going to help.
I love that. I love that. That's a nice quid pro quo approach to things, isn't it? Thanks, Vicky. Now, let me remind our audience of your URL, your website address, which is, and viewers, you can see it on the screen behind me. But listeners, it's all the W's, Vicky Oliver. And Vicky is spelled VICKY, VickyOliver.com. Vicky's written 5 multi-selling books, including this one. It's on the screen behind me that I just love the title of. Bad Bosses, Crazy Co-Workers, and Other Office Idiots, published by Source Books. I said at the beginning of this trilogy that companies face a big challenge with 1 in 4 workers, at least 1 in 4, probably a lot more than that, ready to move jobs. In many cases, the situation may not be the employer's making, but in the main, it was. I trust my expert guest in this trilogy has made you think and be determined to take action, which may involve substantial and permanent change. Thanks, Vicky Oliver, for a very insightful trilogy.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.